Ladies and gentlemen, we're absolutely honored today to have the titans of the tourism industry here with us today. I would say hospitality and tourism, because both of them have had a very big role in shaping the growth of India's tourism story. The question that is in everybody's mind in this room is, will tourism be the engine of India's growth story in the next decade? It's very, very critical, it's very important, and we have two really bright people who can tell you what has been there in the past, what are we looking at today, and with very rooted thought processes, they can help us see the way ahead. So I would like to start very simply with a very brief introduction. I know everybody already knows Mr. Kachru, but a few lines. He's a guiding force in implementing the Prime Minister's vision of tourism as a driver of economic growth and cultural diplomacy. Dr. Jyotsna Suri, whose leadership of the Lalit group has refined and redefined inclusivity, not only in manpower development through the Lalit Suri Hospitality School, but also through the holistic development of destinations where her hotels are located, uplifting local communities, arts and crafts, and their livelihood. So today's conversation is about India's transformation story. It's about growth, progress, and the path these leaders are helping us to shape the future. Mr. Kachru, India's tourism goals for 2047 are bold. I have some figures here. A $3 trillion economy, $3 trillion economy, 100 million inbound, 20 billion domestic visits, 200 million jobs. Which milestones must be front-loaded by 2027, and how do we ensure meaningful metrics beyond vanity?
I think first of all, thank you so much, and I'm privileged to be with Dr. Suri here. And I think you indicated some numbers which we all actually want to achieve, and there is a sincere effort on everybody's is contributing to it. It can't be done by just one group. It has to be done by all stakeholders. My view is that, first of all, we need to acknowledge the current status. Before we talk about these big numbers, asking for 100 million inbound and creating 9% or 10% of the jobs, direct, I'm talking about direct jobs, indirectly probably we will touch 14, 15% of the total employment. I think we have to put our finger on the pulse. If we don't acknowledge and understand what is needed, I'm afraid many people may not like it. It's going to be a very difficult task. In any case, it's very challenging, but it's going to be very, very difficult. We can't suddenly open the box in 2047, where are 100 million people gone? It's not going to happen. I think there are some key issues we need to address yesterday, not today. Like, there has been a great push for infrastructure, which is very much appreciated, particularly our industry, hospitality industry. If the infrastructure is not in place, I don't think we can do much. look at airports, look at railways, roadways. Lots of work has been done, and which has facilitated. We, when we set our own company, when I wear my other hat, we'll have a hotel every 4 hours drive. And it could not have been possible had there not been highways built all around the country. While having said that, okay, that's important, but we need to see who will make this infrastructure besides public sector. I think industry has to get involved. It has to be not necessarily only government or industry, it has to be a collaboration. Our previous speakers, all of them agreed on that unless there is collaboration, we can't achieve anything much. How will that collaboration come? I think first of all, we need to focus on investments, both domestically and internationally. Why would anybody commit himself unless there is a clear direction and opportunity to see what will happen to the capital employed? There has to be ROI, and unless there's an ROI, people are not really going to invest. Government has done its bit. I think we as an industry have to commit ourselves that investments have to be made. Today we are talking about 200,000 plus branded rooms. All of us individually and collectively agree that there's a market of 1 million branded rooms even today. What are we doing about it? I mean, there are few hotels coming here and there. You may, to 200,000, you may add another 50,000 rooms, 75,000 rooms. How will we reach? I think we need to look at the policies. Unless we tweak some of the policies, we have to work very closely with the government. We have to align our thinking with the government, and government has to align their thinking with us.
Yeah, that's right.
So that collaboration, I think, is the first step. We need to, when I initially spoke about, we need to acknowledge what are our problems. Our key problems, one, investment. The other is human resource, talent development. What are we going to do about it? All other steps have to be taken care of. There are many levers we have been talking about. They have to be addressed. But I think we have to take with all seriousness 3-4 key steps which need to be addressed. And I would say the priorities have to be clear for people to invest their time, their money, and there has to be a clear direction of what is the ROI for those. That would be my priority, my initial thoughts.
Excellent. It's going exactly the things that we were talking about. Dr. Suri, how do we embed a responsible growth in every development decision?
Namaskar to everyone. Thank you, Kamal, for having me here and also changing the time. Always a pleasure to be on the dais with KB. Responsibility is not something that you can put into a project. It has to be part of our DNA. And for us now, as responsible citizens of India, as well as the world, we need to be cognizant of several factors, and the most important being sustainability. How are we protecting this planet? How are we taking care so that we need to employ and deploy all measures like water treatment plants, recycling, etc., etc. But not only that, we also need to take responsibility for the community at large. Now, we don't say that we develop hotels and as a group, we say we develop destinations. And by that, we mean that whichever destination we are in, whichever location we are in, we like to engage with the local communities. We then like to, we take pride in having their cuisine, their clothes, their culture. And the engagement with the community actually results in, a very happy atmosphere. And in turn, they get economic benefits as well. So I think responsibility should now be in our DNA. Whenever we develop a hotel, we have to be cognizant of all these factors.
Right, thank you. Mr. Kachru, you said tourism has to be a national priority. If you could pick 3 policy levers that the industry can rally behind over the next 12 months, what would these levers be?
I'd go back to what I said earlier. We need to fix our priorities. As I said, we need to acknowledge.
So 3 policy levers. You said investment, manpower?
I would say investment, manpower, tweaking of policies, and also at the same time, we need to actually see the impact of geopolitical situation and change ourselves immediately. We cannot say that we will have a discussion, we deliberate and prepare a plan and then do an action plan. I think Mr. Trump has already made us wiser in terms of where we are. We must acknowledge that things are not going to be, while our industry is very happy today, that we have good occupancy, growth, we have good rates, but please understand the implications of what's going on all around the world. We are facing a situation of almost 50% tariff, although economists now say that the average tariff would be around 35% to us. But what is worrying, although it may not be politically correct to say, but some of the European countries are being pushed to put tariff on us. We need to understand, if we don't internally mobilize ourselves right, it will impact us. So I would focus on that. We have big corporate houses in India. The other day I was listening to a YouTube interview. Some economists were sitting there and they were talking that the tragedy for India is that we don't relate ourselves with how the private sector does investment. I mean, you'll be shocked to know that only 10% of the investment has been made by private sector.
That's amazing.
And our productivity growth is only 3%. So I think we need to acknowledge, we can't blame government for everything. I think unless we sort out things on our own, things are not going to happen. Coming back to you, acknowledge, prioritize, and then have somebody monitor. There must be accountability. The problem with our industry is that accountability has to become the key issue. Same applies to the government. I mean, big announcements are made, but there is no time zone that such and such job should be completed by such and such date. And if it is not done, who is responsible and what happens to the person? I would rest my case there.
Agree with you, very succinctly put. Jyotsna was asking you, what would be your three levers that the industry can rally behind?
So I would say people, pride, and planet. When I say people, we need to now develop and imbibe all the marginalized communities. And I'm so proud to say that we at the Lalit are doing that. We've got more than 200 plus transgenders working for us. Now, the problem is that there isn't enough skilling that is happening. So I would urge the policymakers that they should focus on skill development, because you don't have to be a Harvard graduate to come into the hospitality business. We employ people from the lowest to the topmost. And in fact, the bulk of the workforce has to be skilled. And we need to bring everyone. We have to give an opportunity to anyone and everyone who lives in this country, an opportunity to be self-sufficient and do a job that they are good at. So people first, pride. We need to take pride in being Indian. I mean, we love the international chains, but I think we need to focus more on the Indianness of our hospitality. So that would be the second one. And the planet. Planet, as I mentioned earlier on, I think it is our responsibility to be cognizant of not destroying this planet, but in fact enhancing it so that we can leave a legacy behind. So I would urge that there are practices that become mandatory. So those sustainable practices should be made mandatory, and there should be a recognition, and we don't work without incentives, unfortunately. And there should be some incentives given to those people who are practicing those very sustainable practices.
Excellent. Dr. Suri, your published DEI outcomes include 250 plus LGBTQIA plus colleagues and over 100 trans hires. What will it take for such transparency to become an industry-wide standard?
So I'm once again, extremely proud that we're doing what we are doing. And when we went on to this journey of including all communities, all marginalized communities, including the LGBTQI+, we raised many eyebrows. There were lots of eyebrows that got raised. And we knew what we were doing, and we continued. And I want to also share that the dedication and output of these people is unmatched. Because we've given them an opportunity to live a dignified life, their output is far more than, I would say, people who are not from those communities. You said that what would it take? Let me tell you that it's already happening. And I'm so, again, delighted to share that many hospitality players are now following suit. So we'll see more and more inclusion happening more and more across the country.
And I have to congratulate you for pioneering this movement and for others then having the courage to take it forward. Taking the same question forward, can associations like HAI codify these norms?
I feel codification is very important, and I would add to what Dr. Suri said, that integration with the communities around you is essential. If we don't do that, even in case of hiring at the entry level, I think they should get the preference. Now, sometimes these people are not skilled. I think HI has taken some initiatives along with Skill Council. I think it's already showing great results. And last year, we actually trained over 100,000 people, Hotels are involved, all the brands. As HI person, I think I wouldn't have expected it to move so quick. Then HI has also initiated a program which has been accepted very well by the leaders of the industry, which is called Mentor-Mentee Program, which was launched only last month. And I think it's for all of you, all the leaders here, to accept it, because it's give back time for all of you. I was just talking to a colleague of mine this morning that, industry has given us so much. I think each one of us must dedicate some time to give back to the industry. How do we do that? We feel and would recommend that each leader at whatever level, you're a vice president, you're a general manager, head of the department, should have 5 mentees. And we should be not wary of the fact that somebody is going to replace us. We must have very clear succession plans if we want our industry to grow. I have often said this: you are not a leader unless you create leaders. So please take it upon yourselves that you need to do something, you need to contribute, go out of your way. I think in terms of sustainability, we're lucky that GSTC has actually embarked on a certification program in India, which I think every hotel should take advantage of, so that when you market your product, its acceptance worldwide is at a much higher level. So these are the kind of initiatives we are supporting, but it's done by all of them.
Great. We actually here in this room have a grassroots association called Wiki, and they do a lot of work in skill development, and I think this is one of the areas they can adopt, which would be codifying and bringing in transparency across the board in diversity inclusion. Here's to Wiki. Ms. Suri, you've both spoken about unleashing the potential of Tier 2 and 3 cities. What's the right sequence? Airport infrastructure, hotels, and then the experience? And more importantly, community ownership. How do we ensure that the benefits stay local?
So I think the most important thing for the development of tourism is connectivity. Now, if Tier 2 city is well connected, then automatically, the infrastructure follows and the hotels follow. And once the hotels come, the experience comes with it. Now, keeping the community in mind is essential. It's very, very essential, because it should not just be about the hotel. It has to be about the destination. And we are living it on a daily basis, and we've experienced it. And I have to tell you that it brings so much, a bonhomie between you and the community there. And they relate to you and you relate to them. So that is absolutely essential. You mentioned about infrastructure. So the infrastructure, of course, is extremely important. But let me give you an example of lack of connectivity. For example, Khajuraho. We have a beautiful hotel in Khajuraho. And there are several other hotels. But it's not doing what it should because of lack of connectivity. We don't have an airline that comes there, and we did SpiceJet for a bit, but it didn't work. Now that's a World Heritage Site. And people across the world know about Khajuraho, but they don't know how to get to it. So if I have to answer your question that what should come first, most important, connectivity. And it could be rail, it could be road, it could be air, but connectivity is essential.
So infrastructure comes first.
Yes, infrastructure and connectivity is kind of interlinked.
Yes.
And they go hand in hand.
Right. Thank you. Mr. Kachru, community ownership, how do we ensure it stays local and of the three, infrastructure, hotels, and then the experience, which should come first?
I think this has already been spoken about, and I fully agree with Dr. Suri, but I would put, and make it very short, vision, mission, and inclusiveness, I think, is the box which I think we should work on.
Great. I think community ownership is something that goes beyond this discussion, because Gen Z and the generation after that are all looking at community ownership. They're looking at grassroots levels. They're looking at what is the experience, what do I get here that's authentic, that's real, that belongs to this place. So if we can put that together in whichever experience we have, then we would have the privilege of anticipating a demand which is virtually there. We go to the last question here. With a hypothetical 20,000 crore rupees to market India globally, how would you allocate funds? Would it be brand building? Would it be conversion efforts or trade shows and ROI? Who would be responsible for that?
So, Kamal, before I answer that, can I just go back to what you commented about the community ownership and the Gen Z and the generation after that? They are so cognizant of this. They are so aware. And as a matter of fact, your experience or the experience of the guest gets highly elevated if they know that you have employed people from around. If I can give you an example of Khajuraho once again, we had a WTTC conference there, and we had local people. Now, they were so well integrated. When I put them in front of people and I said, who is our employee and who is a trainee, they couldn't make out. So, they are very keen to learn, and obviously they're looking at livelihood. And the experience of the guest, and we talk about experiences because now a guest wants experiences. The experiences get enhanced when they know that there is a social element along with you're making profit, of course. We're in the business of making money as well. I mean, that goes without saying. But the experience gets enhanced. Now, coming to your question of 20,000 crores, that's a lot of money. And I don't know where I would begin. But I think what I would do is, I would put 50% of it, that means 10,000 crores, straight away into marketing. Because India is very poorly marketed right now. Internationally, there's very little known about us. The Incredible India campaign went over many, many years ago. What we need now is a real push for marketing. So I would put marketing as 50%. The balance, I would split into two, 25% into technology. Because we need to give a seamless experience to anyone who's, you've done the marketing and they want to come to India. Now, how do they do all of that? So that technology element takes it. And 25% I would put into, road shows and trade fairs, etc. Because that actually helps your own, and not only in India, I would do that internationally as well. So that's 20,000 crores gone.
Absolutely. Mr. Kachru, how would you allocate these kind of funds?
He gave me 20,000 crores. You know, I don't know how many of you would remember that this figure of 20,000 crores came from Mr. Amitabh Kant during one of the sessions. He was talking about tourism. He said, you know, we need to spend some money, and I'm glad he said so, and it was communicated, and the good news is it has been documented at the right places at the moment. As Dr. Suri said, you know, we're at a stage, we have to fix things internally, and we have to market India. Marketing is just not attending trade fairs or doing select events. I think India needs to be positioned right. We need to be sure what we are marketing. Domestically, we need to be sure internationally what niche of the market needs to be identified. The problem is, first of all, India has to be sold as a brand. There's no point our setting up 5 hotels in a place people have never heard of that destination. We as a brand, we built a hotel, lovely hotel. When our team went to market, they said, where is this particular place? So I think we have to sell brand India first of all. Government has to help selling the city, location or whatever has to be done. We have to also allocate some money and have the right consultants, advisors who will help us spend that money right. It cannot be done just because the money is allocated. It's with different ministries and different people, and they decide, okay, we will open an office in London, or we will do something, we'll allocate 2,000 crores for this. I think personally that won't work. We need to have a plan. We need to make people accountable for ROI. If we spend 20,000 crores, what are we getting out of it? And break down further 20,000 crores into 5 or 6 segments, 6 verticals, and say, okay, we want high-end tourism at certain locations. We will not make and push budget, economy, mid-segment in the same area. It's very socialistic thing to say we must have everybody, we have to cater. But that can be, I mean, we have some hill stations in India which are so overcrowded. Even to get into places like Simla, Mussoorie, I mean, it takes hours for the last mile connectivity to go from the toll to the hotel. It will take you 2 hours to reach there. So I think decongestion, all these, I think it should fall within a plan. I wouldn't be able to identify, we should just spend in particular A thing or B thing. I would like to be part of the plan and then monitor it probably every month.
Awesome. So we have some thoughts here that we can all dwell upon. And today's...
Kamal, if I can just say that
please.
What KB has said about monitoring, it's so important, because we set out ourselves a task to do, and there's money also allocated, but there's nobody monitoring it. So where is that money going? Is it actually doing, what it should be doing? So I think monitoring is a very important factor.
Right, monitoring the ROI.
Yes.
Critical. I totally agree, because accountability is key. We can't move forward without it. Thank you. Today's conversation, ladies and gentlemen, reaffirmed what we know, but do not repeat often enough. Tourism is more than a business. It's about purpose, it's about communities, it's about national identity. With leaders like Dr. Suri and Mr. Kachru, India is on course not only to grow, but to transform. These are the titans shaping the future of India's tourism. Ladies and gentlemen, give them a big hand.
I'd like to thank Dr. Suri for the initiatives she has taken for inclusiveness in our industry. I feel that we all should give her a lot of applause for this.